It's time for Sctv with Ethan Humble, Sophie Reese, Cassie Nash, Aaron Wilkins, and Sam Hying.
Good evening, and welcome back to Sctv, Simpson College's first student-run, award-winning weekly newscast. I'm Ethan Humble.
And I'm Sophie Reese. Thanks for joining us.
Our newscast tonight starts with an issue impacting virtually every student living on campus.
With rising frustrations regarding on-campus living, Ethan and our Caleb Gear chatted with both students and leadership to check up on the status of Simpson housing. Here's the story.
I've lived in quite a few areas, and they all seem pretty not fun to live in.
She said Simpson residence halls are underwhelming. That's a huge red flag right there.
I feel like I shouldn't have to fight this hard to feel safe and not be sick.
With frustrations persisting regarding residence hall maintenance, students have demanded answers about building upkeep and livability. Sophomore Morgan Rosenbeck's room in the Picken Hall basement flooded twice in the fall, and about 3 weeks ago it happened again.
And then the third time was just last Monday, and that was definitely the worst. The water came out about halfway through our room in two directions, which is where all of my stuff is. So where all my clothes were, everything like on the bottom level was wet. Everything under the bed, my roommate and I both have stuff under there that's wet.
While she was worried about her property being damaged, Rosenbeck was also concerned about her health.
I never get sick, really, and I was almost constantly sick, couldn't breathe, always had headaches. I felt like I wasn't sleeping at all.
Rosenbeck stated upon testing, her room's humidity level was measured at about 70%, when ideally a room would sit at 30%.
Everything we tested for was high, but not abnormally high enough to do anything about it. So again, no change, just sick.
However, this problem extends further than the walls of Picken. Water damage has also damaged Kappa Theta Psi, one of Simpson's fraternities, and the house's leadership, including president and former community advisor Sid Hudson, decided to close the third floor to member use.
They've been patching our roof for, from what I'm told, 3 years now. They have been refusing to actually get us a new roof.
Now, with membership set to increase, Director of Facility Management Brian Schultes plans on getting the members access to their top floor.
Planning on replacing the roof this summer, but we're trying to understand what's going on. We're not even sure where all the water in the basement came from.
That's right. Unfortunately, as is the case above, is also below. Coy also faces flooding to their basement.
I know that both ours and ATO's boilers flooded over winter break. Thank God I was there during it, because it happened during that major snowstorm.
However, Coy isn't the only building Schultes has his eyes on.
I'm going to call out the Detroit Weinman Apartments. The FCI is poor. It's not critical, which means we would replace it. It's poor. I would say that Detroit Weinman is a prime candidate to be considered for replacement.
With Schultes beginning his work at Simpson only last April, he expects plenty of change in the next few years.
You eat an elephant one bite at a time. And so 3 years from now, if I'm still having the same problems I'm having today, shame on me.
But for right now, frustrations loom.
And my dad went here, and he told me when I was visiting schools, he's like, please don't go to Simpson, you're gonna hate it. And for some reason, I didn't listen to him. I wish I would have. Well, back and forth. I really like the people I've met here.
For Sctv, I'm Ethan Humble.
If you have a testimony you'd like to share about on-campus housing, please send me an email.
Undoubtedly, distracted driving is the #1 cause of car accidents.
A distracted driver doesn't have their full attention on the road, and a leading distractor is cell phones.
Nearly 8 years ago, Simpson senior Morgan Castenson was personally impacted by a distracted driver, and Cassie Nash captured her story.
So my dad and I's relationship was just like your typical dad-daughter relationship. He was my best friend. He was just that type of person that you could always go to for anything. My dad was just #1 in my life. He was the one to always take me to my sporting events. He never missed a sporting event in my entire high school, elementary career. He was always there. On May 8th, 2015, it was just a normal day. I overslept school actually, and so when I would oversleep, my dad would always take me. He dropped me off. I gave him a really big hug before I left. We're good. This driver, who's Colton Bills, he ran through a stop sign, but we didn't know if it was like brake related, like something went out in like the steering system or whatever. So they found out through text messages that he was actually texting and driving. What happened was he blew through and just T-boned my dad and grandma, and my dad died with very traumatic injuries, just literally everywhere. And my grandma, I think, nearly broke every bone in her body, so just from pain and everything, she passed away. Yeah, the words I'll never forget is, he didn't make it. And that's when I have never seen my dad or my mom hit the floor so hard in our life. And it's like our whole entire world collapsed. When we went into the room to see my dad, like, he looked like he was full of life. And that was the hardest thing of my entire childhood, was seeing that. It just looked like he was napping. My mom obviously lost like her best friend. I mean, you marry someone to grow old with them. Then my oldest sibling, Kelsey, she was expecting her first baby at the time, also was gonna make my dad become a grandpa. And so like my dad lost out on that opportunity. My sister, Renee, was gonna get married, so my dad passed away in May. My sister was getting married in October. They planned this wonderful dance together. You know, that was taken away from her in a blink of an eye. I dread my wedding because the one person I'd want for me to walk down the aisle with is not here. My brother, he was a sophomore in college at the time. He lost his best friend. I mean, being the only boy in our family, like, my dad and him bonded a lot because they understood each other. I was the youngest, I was 14 at the time, and it was really hard to go through life, especially seeing like dads who were very absent in their kiddo's life. I had a lot of friends who had their parents were divorced, and it was just kind of the question of why me. My dad was never absent at sporting events. He was never absent in my life. He was always there for me. He was a phone call away. I still to this day want to dial his number just because I want to talk to him. Looking out in a crowd on graduation day is when it hit me hard. My mom was just sitting by herself with her other 3 kids or my siblings, and it was just sad knowing that I couldn't go after the ceremony was done and go, like, hug my dad and just say thank you for everything. It was really sad having to, you know, listen to your dad through what you remembered of him instead of his actual words. And I still talk to my mom to this day about, like, I just wish I could hear dad. The one thing I want to leave you with is that texting and driving is just not worth it. I think a lot of us, it doesn't hit us until it hits home, and that's what happened with our family. I mean, you think you're invincible, you hear stuff on the news all the time, and you're like, it won't happen to me. But this really hit home. Not only 1, but 2 people in our family that were the biggest impacts in all of our lives were taken from us way too soon. I guarantee you, the person you're texting can wait 10 minutes to an hour. They don't need to receive that text message within 2 seconds of it going off. When you pick up your phone, ask yourself, how many people would you leave behind if you ran into someone and killed them? It would change your life forever.
As someone who has also lost a parent, I'm so sorry for your losses, Morgan. My heart truly hurts for you.
After losing my dad as well in 2020, I can say you have my full support 100%. Very sorry, Morgan. It's a not so gentle reminder to not text and drive.
For sure. Well, our next story brings us to a unique business endeavor one Simpson student has taken on.
Sophomore Brandon Zehr has a deeply rooted interest in reselling goods, and our Aaron Wilkins chatted with him to see what his business is all about.
So I'm an antique dealer. I specialize in vintage and antique collectibles, mainly the vintage jewelry aspect of it. I've been doing this since I was about 9 years old. From about 9 years old to about 13 years old, I was selling Lego products, so like Lego sets, and because I had a huge collection, I absolutely loved Lego at that time. So some of the places I source, are like thrift stores, auctions. I do a lot of online bidding, so I'll buy like jewelry boxes or something and then sort through it once it ships to my house and then dispersed if it goes into my antique booths or if it goes online. We just had spring break, and I worked maybe 8 to 10 hours a day working with this stuff. In a month, I would say probably upper 3, lower 4 digits. Because I'm a college student, I focus on my studies first, and then I focus on the reselling business on the weekends. I will say I am profitable in it. I would say as a reseller tip, you have to watch how much you spend, because your expenses will really differ from your profits. My future plans hopefully will be to run an antique store someday. It's been a dream of mine to do that. I have 2 antique booths around Des Moines, and I just think it'd be really fun to own an antique shop.
As you can see in the reviews on Brandon's Whatnot website, he is very successful. If you want to check out Brandon's social media pages, I have added screenshots and the links to his pages. Reporting for Sctv, I'm Aaron Wilkins.
One person's trash really is another person's treasure. Way cool, Brandon.
And that sentiment could possibly be shared about spring break, depending on what students may have done.
Along with a recap of my break, I walked around Kent and interviewed students discussing their ventures throughout their week off. Hello, Simpson College, and welcome back from spring break. I hope you all had a great time. I know I did. You know what? Let me just show you what I did. Now that that's over with, let's go ask some people what they did. Hey there, what's your name?
LaDacia Robinson.
And what did you do over spring break?
Sleep.
Lovely. I'm glad you got your rest. Hey there, what's your name?
Riley.
Kylie.
And what did you do over spring break?
We went to NCSSA Nationals in Las Vegas.
And how was that?
It was wonderful.
Lovely. Thanks for sharing. Hey stranger, what's your name?
I'm Zach.
And can you tell me what you did over break?
I bought a new car.
I hope it drives well.
Me too.
Hey there, what's your name?
Esther Escalante.
And tell me a little bit about your spring break.
Went back home to Arizona, and I got to be part of a mission trip.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Hey there, what's your name?
Michelangelo.
And tell me a little bit about your spring break.
It was good. I had a gymnastics competition against U.S. Naval Academy here, so I had to stay here, but...
Well, I hope you did great in your competition. Thank you. Hey there, can you tell me your name?
Hi, I'm Max Myers.
Hi, great to meet you. Can you tell me what you did over break?
Today, over break?
Yeah.
Over break, I watched anime and slept.
You know, sounds relaxing and fun. Thanks for sharing.
Yep, have a great sense of
You
day.
You too. Hey there, what's your name?
Ryan.
And can you tell me a little bit about what you did over break?
Yeah, we went down into Pennsylvania and we had a little bit of a speech and debate nationals.
Did you do well?
Yeah, I ended up taking second in public forum in the nation, so
Congratulations, you're so smart. Thanks for sharing. What's your name?
Kylie Robinson.
And tell me what you did over break.
I went to Daytona Beach in Florida.
And you came back with a little surprise.
Oh yeah, I got terribly burned.
Can we see?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's get this. Oh my goodness gracious. Aloe for sure.
Oh yes.
Take care. Take care.
You.
Thanks for sharing all of your fun spring break memories. Now it's time to be the academic weapons I know you can be. For Sctv, I'm Sophie Reese.
Some real fun stuff. And that's just the motivation I needed, Sophie. It's time to summon my inner academic weapon.
Absolutely. But one of our sports teams was especially busy over spring break.
Our softball team was red hot on their trip down to Florida, winning 10 of their 12 contests. Thus, they earned a feature from our own Claire Varen.
Our trip to Florida was a lot of fun. We found out a lot about ourselves. We're really young for the most part, but that youthfulness brings a positive energy. And I think the ladies had a great time traveling to Florida. The weather was great, and the bus ride can get long, but it built a lot of chemistry and a good culture within the team. In Florida, we were 10-2, so we were really excited. Almost every single game we were the underdog, so it was nice to come out of there with that many wins. This weekend we play Greenville on Saturday and Monmouth on Sunday, double headers both days, so we're excited for fans to come out and see us on our brand new turf, and we're really excited to play on it and let the fans see what we're all about and to see the players. So we're excited for this weekend.
Our goals for the season are to play together, continue to be that one Simpson family. Our coach really wants us to obviously get that dub in the conference. We obviously want to play together and play as a team, but the most important thing is that we come together and we continue to be like sisters on and off the field. We've done a really good job this year continuing to play together and practice and communicate a lot. And I think that relationship is really important for all of us to be able to win together, because so far our record is 12-4 and it can only get up from here. So
I would say it was like a really good bonding experience for the entire team. We got to learn a lot about each other. We stayed in houses for the first time, which was really hectic, but we were together at almost every point every day. So yeah, we got on each other's nerves, but it was a really good bonding experience, which I think correlated to on-field success. By the end of last season, every single team in our conference was doubting us, and even going into this season, everyone pegged us as the underdog. And I think we've proven that we can play with the top competition. Even in Florida, we beat some undefeated teams. And I think people are really starting to take us seriously with our hitting, our pitching, just kind of all around, we're a powerhouse now.
I thought the team did really, really well. They're a bunch of superstars.
Sounds like they're already proving the doubters wrong. Good luck this season, ladies.
Just before spring break, 3 members of Simpson's track and field team made the trip down to Alabama for the NCAA National Indoor Championships.
We have already highlighted Spencer Moon and Carter Berkey, so naturally, it was Max Cleveland's turn in Sam Hying's sports features.
My name is Max Cleveland. I'm from Indianola, Iowa. I had been running in like elementary school, but like actual track stuff, probably like 6th or 7th grade, high jump and hurdles. I started doing track. My dad was my track coach here, obviously, for a couple of years. And he's just a huge track guy. And so he kind of got me into it pretty early. And I don't know what it is about track, whether it's like the individual aspect of it, but I really love it. The fact that like I can set goals for myself and I can work towards those goals and have a competitive outlet to just continue to compete is really big for me. I had been really comfortable being around Simpson. I had kind of grown up here in a lot of respects. Coming here for whether it was like lock-ins with his previous athletes or just being here for basketball or whatever it is, I had a certain level of comfortability with Simpson. At the time, I wouldn't have said this probably, the fact of like being so close to home growing up in Indianola, but the connections and investments that I do have here are really big too. I had wanted to make nationals obviously for a very long time. So I accomplished that this year. Going for a school record would also be a big goal for me. I got really close, 0.01 off, so that's definitely something in the future that I want to shoot for next year, God willing. And then obviously I came up just a little bit short, but being an All-American and being top 8 in the country. I would say I haven't achieved like the goals and the records that I want to in the future, but our distance medley has been really successful in the past. All conference and hurdles this year, national qualifier. I was an academic All-American last year, and then all region. I don't have a lot of superstitions or anything, but I would say like a certain level of intentionality pre-meet, just being in the right headspace to have what I do in practice kind of translate over to the meet. I want to be kind of in that top area in the country. So competing for All-American status, competing for national championships. I think I've put myself kind of in that area, at least like trending in that area, going into outdoors where it's more realistic than it has been in the past, which is really cool. And then also like, it'd be great to break records and stuff. Day to day though, just like being a good teammate and helping my teammates push forward with their goals.
For Sctv, I'm Sam Hying.
As a good friend and roommate, I can personally say that I'm very proud of you, Max. What a great accomplishment.
Cleveland finished 11th in the 60-meter hurdles. Spencer Moon took 14th and 15th in the 3,000 and 5,000 meter runs, respectively. And Carter Berkey tied for 18th in the long jump.
Moving into other sports, our men's volleyball team is now 0-6 after losing all 4 of its games since our last episode.
The team played last night against Grandview. We'll have your results from that one next week.
The men's tennis team lost to St. Ambrose 6-1 before break, with Drake Downer capturing the team's only point.
On their own trip down to sunny Florida, the baseball team went 6-1, bringing their overall record above 500 for the first time this year.
The Simpson shooting sports team went to Las Vegas for the NCSSAA championships, as alluded to in Sophie's segment. They finished as Division III national runner-ups to Schreiner University.
Men's gymnastics fell to Navy at home, 381.85 to 346.4. The gymnasts remain winless.
In other news, I am proud to announce I have accepted an offer to be a reporter and multimedia journalist at KCCI News right here in Des Moines. I'm beyond excited to continue my passion for storytelling after graduation.
Congrats, Ethan. We're so proud of you. That's going to be all from us here tonight.
We humbly thank you for your time. We'll be back next week. Until then, you stay classy, Simpson.